Hi, my name's Keith and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man, and today I'm going to make a very important video talking to you all about your losses and how they're actually good for you. They're healthy for you. They're something that you should experience. What if you've seen just 1,000 losses, for example? Then you know when you achieve your success that you're able to learn from your 1,000 losses, so you know 1,000 times what not to do. And you're able to replicate the success. I can safely tell you right now, there are many people in this world who have achieved success, and they didn't know how they achieved it. They really just didn't know how they achieved it, and they couldn't replicate it because they didn't get in the habit of losing. It's very harmful. That's why God loves you guys so much to the point where he'll put you through all these different failures until you start seeing what exactly gets you to a win. And when you have the win, you've been through so many failures to the point where you don't replicate what doesn't work. There's actually too many examples of, I'm not going to say too many. There's too many examples of, I guess I can say too many examples of people just not learning from their wins. Or not learning, I'll give you some examples. Some people in Hollywood. Yeah. I will not say any names, but there are some people. I'm actually going to think of some names. Well, I actually can't remember any names. If you know who I'm talking about, because I don't even know the name. So the person who is on the label with Kanye West and Jay-Z and stuff like that, and the only time I ever say names, it's because there was one person that got so successful with their first song, and they just couldn't replicate it, so that was their downfall. They basically started at the top, and they went to the bottom because they were just kind of put at the top, and they really couldn't replicate their success because they didn't have enough losses, and they just lost, and they gave up because, of course, you came from a giant win to a bunch of losses, so all these little tiny losses that you're experiencing are making you very strong. You know exactly what will work and exactly what won't work. So where does this apply in life? What am I talking about? Anything, everything. Everything and anything. Anything and everything. It could be, yes, anything and everything. If you don't get the point, I'm elaborating. Let's just say you are someone who started your small business and you tried everything. It's been about a year, and that's one of the ways I started making the world's best necklaces. For about 4 years, I was making necklaces even before I started selling necklaces, and it was very tough to make a necklace. Very challenging to make a necklace. I charge what I do for all my necklaces because they're specialty. They're special. Most people, when they have necklaces, they break off. It's because gemstones on necklaces can be tough. They can be pretty tough. So when you're wearing a necklace, the gemstone, for example, is beating against the necklace. It's beating against the wire. It's beating against what it's made out of. So with that in mind, my first necklace ever, and how embarrassing is that for you to wear a necklace and you're in public, and do you know how embarrassing that is? For the people who have ever had their necklace broken, then guess what? It's not a good feeling. But if you do that in public, it's now everyone sees, and it's just like your business is all over the place now. That's how people are, and that's not how people remember you, but that's how you think people remember you. It's not fun, okay? So when it comes to you losing, for me to have gone through every single material ever, there's people playing music in the background, but for me to have gone through every single thread, fiber, strand, to have tried all of them. Literally, I tried every single fiber, thread, strand. I've tried spinning my own thread with fishing wire. I've tried absolutely everything. I have tried everything, and it felt like constant losses. It felt like constant losses over and over and over. And I'm just like, what is this? I'm like, why is it so tough to make a necklace out of gemstones? And at points in time, I didn't give up. I took a long break, and then I came back. I took a long break. I came back. Took a long break. I came back. Took a long break. I came back. Most people, when they take a long break, they quit. They'll do something else. That's not how life's supposed to work. Get good at what you're doing. You ever hear the people say, oh, jack of all trades, master of none? I get where that comes from originally, but that's just, we're using the cover as a point for now. But so a lot of people will just hop over here, hop over there. And even like, and I'm using myself as an example. So I could have just stopped making necklaces, and I could have started making, and I promised myself after I got really good at making bracelets, and even with bracelets, there's a very specific way to make bracelets. You can just put a bracelet together, but if it breaks, because I mean, there's a million reasons as to why a bracelet can break. Versus a Florida Stoneman bracelet, it almost never breaks, and if it does break, it's because it's either too tight or you're being attacked spiritually, which is usually why a necklace breaks. A necklace will break because energetic stresses, but even then, I've come up with backups and safety, different safety measures on my necklaces and whatnot. So if a necklace breaks, I've actually come up with a way so all the stones stay on, or the stones fall in a very particular fashion so you're able to catch them. How awesome is that? So I'm not sharing all my secrets on here about how I've come to make my necklaces. I'll never do that, because about 4 years of me, I'll give away some secrets about, okay, it's a steel spun wire, but it's a steel spun wire, but there's specific techniques that I've almost lost my eye to. If you ever watched my TikTok lives a year ago, there are some people in that TikTok live, I was putting super glue on it. I was super gluing my hands together like this on TikTok live as I made necklaces on live. And even that wasn't perfect. I'd have to redo it about 5-10 times. And I'm on the carpet, sitting on the ground, super gluing my carpet. And I thought to myself, this is too much. And then I just took a break and I went back to it, but I didn't give up. All those different losses when it came to me making my necklaces have me making the best necklace. I found different techniques and different designs and a Florida Stoneman necklace that other people didn't find because they give up when they make it. Or some people will have pride or ego or too much confidence in what they do that doesn't work. Like, some people will just not learn, or some people will be like, well, this is the only way to do it, or this is the best way to do it. Oh, but online says. Take what online says and throw it in the trash, because if online was putting actual information that you had something unique, then everyone would be using it. Look at a YouTube guide about these. I'm outing people now. A lot of people on YouTube are putting out fake content because they don't want people catching up with them. That's exactly it in every department. So ask yourself right now, where are you losing in life? You have to understand, and even when it comes to, and this is something really interesting as well. I'm going to use because I do know people who have won big games and big lottery. So how did they come up to win? It's because they got into a habit of losing. So, and I know people who win major cash prizes in their state, over millions of dollars, which I'm not going to say who they are or where they live. I will not. And for the person who actually watches my video, who that's you, please don't. I mean, you can comment if you'd like. You can say, oh, Florida Stoneman's great adventuring. Some people might know who this person already is because they're in my TikTok lives. But the thing about that is that person lost several times before they actually won. So when that person won the big more than once, then people were evil-eyeing that person. I'm not going to say if it's a he or she. People were evil-eyeing that person, hating on them, kicking them out from places because, like, well, if you're such a winner, then you go win somewhere else. And it's just disgusting because that person lost so many times to the point where their losses didn't define them. But those people who were hating on that person, I'm so glad I didn't actually slip if that was a male or a woman. I didn't. Okay. So that person, I'm just going to say that person over and over. That person studied certain patterns and actually came up with certain patterns as to how they're able to win. Okay, if you play on a Monday, I'm not going to say what patterns they've found, because then everyone would be doing the same thing. And then universe, through the Most High God, the universe, he can activate mechanisms to change certain things so they don't work for everyone anymore. But let's just say, a little secret that I can share is that, for example, if you notice you're lucky on Mondays, play lottery on Mondays. Play 7 days a week and draw down, and play 7 days a week for 3 months straight, or if it's not that much, don't throw your winnings on gambling. And then just make a chart. Don't look at the chart until the whole month is up, and then look, okay, there's a pattern of you being lucky on Mondays. Do that a couple months later, and then you'll notice it's Mondays and it's sometimes Fridays. It's like, oh, if I gamble on these 2 days, I'm luckier. Why is that? It's because of frequencies and planets. So for someone who just goes to the lottery and they start losing, they're like, maybe it's not, man, maybe God doesn't want me. Maybe God doesn't want me. Well, it's what you desire and where you put your beliefs. The mind is the only wall. So let's just say in this, I'm going to tell you something that does happen. Let's just say if you found the biggest win, but you're unable to replicate it, you'll have a couple more losses until you're able to know what doesn't impact the win. So basically, you'll have a few more losses until the win comes again, simply because you haven't experienced those losses because you're trying something new. And the win's coming back around as long as you're consistent and you're, most importantly, putting God first. If you're having wins, I'm going to say this right now, if you're having wins and they're not through the Most High God, they're not going to last. They just won't. They won't be true wins. You'll achieve it and then you'll slowly go downwards. Look at most celebrities, especially when they start claiming the devil. Okay? So the biggest thing is to know that your losses are getting you to your win. It's kind of like this is a really good example. You're in a maze, and especially if you play mazes online, you go into a maze, and when you look around the maze, it's foreign, it's strange, and maybe the mazes are different every single time, but you get into the maze, and after a long time of trying different mazes, you're able to know that, hey, the mazes have a pattern of this wall. So usually when you walk into the maze, it'll have you going left. There's a wall to the right. Actually, no. When you first go into the maze and you go left, most of the time people will go right or left. Of course, because there's only two ways to go. Most people will intuitively go left. Or some people will go right because they'll think, oh, if they go, and this is actual fact about mazes. So if you're trying to go down the path of right, like, well, maybe it's left. So they'll go down the left path, and then when they get to that one, and this, you might see this in your mind's eye, but you get to the, you go down the maze a little more, and now you see two directions, and it's pushing you in one direction, so now you're just kind of lost. But if you repeat that, and you understand that the dynamics of a maze is to get to the center, the path that it just seems like you're not winning as much, or winning in the maze is basically getting through as much, and it doesn't feel like you're getting lost, you won't feel as lost because you tried so many mazes. So when you get into the maze, it's like, I know how to navigate this because mazes have a specific pattern, which is an actual fact about mazes. You don't have to see over the walls to know that you're gonna get to the other side, okay? Now, this is really important because whatever you continuously lose at is what you'll be the best at. This is so important. For the people who have given up on their spiritual gifts, for the people who actually, and God will see, it doesn't even matter. When it comes to God, don't even ask how. Ask why. I mean, you can ask when here and there, but just trust, it's not about if, it's about when. So when it comes to when, just let the when fade away. It's gonna happen. It's just gonna happen. You're doing it by God. You're doing right by God, and you're doing everything you do by God, so he's going to make sure you win. You might just do it by accident, and he'll show you how to do it in like a dream or something. It doesn't even matter. You're just gonna win because when you do something by God, he'll make sure you win. And what happens when you win and you see some losses afterwards? He's testing you. Did that win come too easy? Let's see what happens when this person wins. So when it comes to winning and losses and wins, that is how entrepreneurs have made it. These people at the very top, they didn't just get lucky. Some of them kind of just did get lucky, but some of them who just did get lucky and didn't have any losses behind them got unlucky because they didn't deserve it. They didn't earn it. That's not a muscle for them. If I go to the gym and I work out 5 days a week, not 7. That's too much. I mean, not for some. Everyone's different. But if I work out 5 days a week and I do one exercise and I'm noticing one exercise gets my muscle big and I'm doing every exercise and I can't find it, then I'll just practice a different exercise every single time I get to the gym until I find out exactly what exercise it is. Which I'm going to share an exercise secret. It's the kickback. So when you do tricep kickback, it makes your arm very large because I guess the gravity of the exercise, I don't know, but it took years before I learned that. I can teach it to someone else, and this is interesting because you can teach someone your win, but if they haven't lost, they won't value the win, they won't even internalize how you can win, and they won't even add it to their routine. I used to share that exercise with people in the gym, and people just wouldn't do it after I taught them until they've lost, until nothing else worked, and they realize, hey, this does work the most, versus they think they know it all, they're prideful, like, well, I know other exercises, and their arms stay small. Get with the program. And yeah, this is a little bit of an amplification video. I'm pushing you guys to get to where you need to be. Your losses define you. If you're proud and you think you're winning when you're done, you don't need to do any more, that the win will come to you versus you having to do anything, then that's pride. What does the Bible say about having a certain level of pride when it comes to the Lord? So there's good pride and there's bad pride. There's the pride of like, oh, I don't need any help, versus there's the pride of like, okay, I'm on the right track to the Lord. So make sure you toss aside the pride and let your wins define you, and get used to, I mean, your losses, they're not even losses. Those losses are just mini wins, but you can't see the end goal. It's like you can't scroll to the end of the movie, but it's positive. Okay, if you have any questions, ask them in the comment section. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Make sure you check out FloridaStoneman.com. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.